Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestling and to another edition of NXT Out of 10. And of course it's a big episode of NXT this week, a lot happening, including the Women's Speed Championship Tournament beginning, Javon Evans versus Shagon Sugars, and much more. We started things off with the action with Vice teaming up with Izzy Damon, Tatum Paxley to battle Fallon Henry, Laney Reid and JC Jane. Fatal Influence dominated the early minutes. Paxley and Vice both spent a lot of time in the ring while their opponents made quick tags to keep themselves fresh. Dame didn't get involved until Paxley was about to be pinned. The match lasted about 15 minutes and had some good physicality, but there was nothing out of the ordinary for most of these women. Dame taking a pin for her team is clearly designed to set up tension with Paxley, and it will work because the seeds are already planted for their eventual breakout. The bout wasn't perfect, but it was a solid performance from all six, who look like they have bright futures, possibly on the main roster too. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Kalani Jordan then came out to the ring for a promo, was booed mercilessly by the crowd. She questioned why the audience cheers for a cheater like Dom or Lola for going to AAA while booing her for the same thing they did. Fair point. After the break, Josh Briggs took on El Grande Americano after they had a confrontation backstage earlier in the day. Briggs had the power advantage, but Americano is no small man. Ludwig Kaiser, currently under the mask, is a gifted wrestler who's currently saddled with a comedy effort, so he isn't trying to provide the same level of technicality he would as himself. It wasn't a bad match, and it had a couple of cool moments, like Americano doing a handstand to counter a headlock. But the bout as a whole didn't really live up to what we know both men could do. It was a very weird dynamic with both men being heels, but the crowd were cheering for a lot of things they did, making it weirder. A lively audience is good though. This was a decent match, but it could have been a lot better. Americano ended up winning thanks to the distraction from Tavion and some interference from the fellow Mind Grandes. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Trick Williams and Ricky Saints then had a split screen promo exchange. These have sometimes been done in an interview format, but there's nobody asking questions this time. It was trash talking while sitting in different rooms. They eventually got angry and went to fight. Before the next match was a women's speed bout with Zaria taking on Ren Sinclair. Kendall Gray accompanying her. Zaria used her power to control most of the first minute, but Sinclair started firing back. After escaping an armbar, Zaria was able to get the pin. It was quick by design due to the time limit. What they did was good, but these matches are never going to be satisfying because, yeah, they're just simply done so fast. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Probably the right result, but, yeah, like I say, not much you could really see into that. The Knockouts champion was in non-title action next up when Kalani Jordan took on Tyra Maso after Ava booked it. Steele brought the fight to Jordan immediately and had her reeling. Nani was outmatched in the power department. She had agility on her side. Despite a good fight from Steele, Jordan scored the victory after just a few minutes. This was another example of a match that felt like it was finding its groove when it came to the end. So yeah, it just seems a bit rushed really. So overall, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. The next match was Sorgan Sugars versus Javon Evans. Evans drove out of the ring of all four members of Dark Spate during their entrance to get this match going. Once they got back to the ring and things settled, Sugars took control and overpowered the young AG a few times. Even when Evans was able to get in some offense, the other members of Dark State would do something to give their man the advantage. It was high energy, high impact that made both competitors look good. They found their footing right and worked well together. Evans rallied late in the match and hit several of the signature moves before getting the win. He managed to escape before the rest of Dark State pounced. Overall, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, like I say, a really decent match. Made sense for Evans to get the win, but I thought, Dark State, they're still booked quite well, aren't they? And yeah, the show ended with Chelsea Green and Ethan Page holding a celebration for winning the AAA Mixed Tag titles this past weekend. There's a cake in the ring, and there's obviously someone racing to jump out. Joe Hendry showed up, and Thea Hale popped out the cake to attack them. She and the Scott took down Page and Green to win the show, setting up a very intriguing mixed tag match. And yeah, overall, I'm going to give this week's episode a 5 out of 10. It left a lot to be desired. Evans v Sugars was probably the match of the night, but yeah, it's just such a hot or cold brand. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, and I just felt like it's probably on the badder scale this week. Right, so that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.